All right, all right. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube. This is Pastor Dowell. I'm going to go ahead and weigh in on this. And the reason why I'm going to weigh in on this, and for the purpose of weighing in on this, is because some people do value my opinion outside of scriptural authority. Now, I want you to really truly listen to me very closely. And when I say outside of scriptural authority, I mean I'm speaking of a subject or a topic that has nothing to do with biblical basis, but it has everything to do with the function of our lives right now. Now, the Supreme Court today pretty much upheld Obamacare. And of course, you have two different schools of thoughts here in this country. You have the liberal and you have the conservative. You have the Democrats on one side and allegedly so-called the libertarians and the Republicans on the other. And then you have the majority of the people in America who don't know what side they're on. And that's just the truth. And most people don't understand current events, signs of the times, or things that are going on today and how that these things affect them. That's just like the Federal Reserve. Nobody ever nobody ever knew that the Federal Reserve Act that was enacted in 1913 was eventually, later on down the line, was going to remove what we call real money out of the hands of the people. And the people are going to be trading in their wealth for a fiat currency that's based on the promise, if you want to call them benevolent, of the good old benevolent word of the United States of America. But I'm going to go ahead and weigh in on this Obamacare thing in this Supreme Court ruling. Have you noticed lately that no matter what it is in the world, and Jay Snip 4 brought this out too, it's a very good point, whether it be the elections over there in Egypt, or whether it be some type of ruling or elections over here in this country, everything is just, man, 5-4, 51% to 49%. Man, just barely made it in. Isn't that something? It seems like that all these rulings are so close. Oh, man, I tell you what. But let me go ahead and give you what's really truly taking place coming from my perspective, in my opinion, in this whole situation. In essence, what's happening is Obama is basically saying that health care is mandatory for every American in the United States. And in order to implement this, along about 2015, providing if you make enough money, if you're not paying health care, then when you go to do your taxes, the portion that you have not paid, or if you're not paying in, or if you have not opted into it, will be deducted from your taxes. So in essence, the Obamacare thing is, hey, you can deal with all the rhetoric and all the other things that the people are saying, but in essence, the truth is, according to my personal opinion about this whole thing is that Obamacare is nothing but another heavy taxation levied on the people by the Congress. Now, that's my personal opinion, because this is a tax issue right here. Does Congress have the right to levy taxes on the people? Now, they can call it health care or whatever care, anything else. I understand all the noise, and I hear the noise very, very well. As a matter of fact, I've learned over the years, before I take a position on something, now let me go on what we call the religious front. Most of the time, the majority of the time, if somebody is saying something that you have not already received, or somebody in your family has not already told you what they believe to be the truth, and you accepted the truth passively without any resistance whatsoever at all, but you just accepted it because mom accepted it, dad accepted this the way it's always been in our family. How can you be so sure that you know the truth if you have not done your own independent research of the matter. That's why, the statement of having an open mind is very important. I mean, I hear everything. And if it's something that I do not personally know, before I can agree or disagree with something, you know what I have to do? I have to actually step aside, step back, and I have to actually take the time and do my own independent due diligence and research, and then come to an intelligent, informed conclusion, because I burnt the oil. I spent the time, and now I can make a rational decision based on the facts, not what other people have said. But that is not the way the majority of people in the United States of America function. That's not the way that they do things. As a matter of fact, it's far from it. We've mostly lived by the set of rules and regulations that we basically have defined truth under our own terms. And we basically have went after our own heart rather than actually knowing why people are coming from certain perspectives. And we got the same thing that's going on today with this Supreme Court ruling about health care. So basically what they're doing is they're basically saying that everybody in this country will have health care, whether you like it or not. Now, I'm of the opinion, because no matter what they rule, it's totally irrelevant to me. I'm not playing the game. I mean, you say, well, Pastor Dowell, you're not going to play the game. Well, I'm just not going to play the game. That's just all there's to it. I'm not playing the game. And you have to understand how I live in order to understand what I'm saying. And if you don't have that understanding, then you will not understand why I speak and talk the way I do. Now, I'm of the opinion, personally, that health care is exactly what it says. It's health care. And I believe that there's nobody that can care more for your health than you. If you don't care about your body, if you don't care about your personal well-being, if you do not care one iota about your health, then you keep going to the grocery stores. You keep eating all of those food products that have names on it this long, words you can't even pronounce. You just continually keep going under the assumption that everything in that grocery store is good for you just because the FDA says it's good. And just because they say it's regulated and it is good. If you believe that type of sentiment, do not let me disturb you. I do not believe in personally going against any man or any woman's conscience. You go ahead and do what you feel is right. But know this. Do not complain. Do not bellyache. Do not moan, bawl, and squall when your health fails you. Because, see, I'm of the mind that in order for you to care for your health, that means you have to first change the way you have been programmed to think. Now, what I mean by all that is I believe that you should grow your own food. I believe that you should have your own milk cow if you're going to drink milk, your own goats if you're going to drink goat milk. I think you ought to personally stay away from any pasteurization process, period. Because now most of you are not in any position whatsoever at all to even levy an opinion whatsoever at all. You can't even give me an opinion if you don't know what I'm talking about. But I know Americans. They have defined truth on their own terms. They don't care what nobody said. They're going to still give their ignorant opinion no matter what. But I am talking to intelligent, independent, informed thinking people here today. I really truly don't concentrate on the ignorant folks, because they'll have you going all day long. Have you not checked out comments on videos and see how ignorant people are today and how willfully ignorant or dumb on purpose they choose to be? And you can't entangle yourself with that, man. You'll go mad and crazy trying to make sense of how that mind calculates and compute thought. I think you ought to grow your own food. I think you ought to use cow manure, chicken manure, grow your own greens, your tomatoes, as much all of this as you can. I think you ought to learn how to live simple. The one thing I have learned about that, and it is utterly amazing, that unless there is some major injury, I mean like a horrific accident, or there's a cut really deep, long, all the way to the bone or something like that. I can actually say, because we work on our health here at Straightway, that for the last 15 years, we have not been to hospitals and doctors just because we have a sniffle or a cold, or somebody has what you call cancer or arthritis, or they can't sleep apnea, or depression. And I can tell you why. Because we have taken charge of our own health. We drink good, clean water, distilled water. We don't do what the commercials suggest. We're not getting advertised to, and we're not being inundated by advertisements, because we do not have a TV signal on this land, and Pastor Dowell has not had a TV signal on any land that I possess and I've been at for over 20 years. So I wouldn't know a lot of the advertisements that take place and go on out there in the world now with the advent of the internet, the information superhighway. You know, hey, I'm easy. It's easy for me to determine what I'm going to let come in front of my eyes, because ultimately what comes into your eyes enters into your mind, whether it's active or passive. It's totally irrelevant. You see it, it's there. And you need to understand that type of communication, because when you get out into these stores, you get these thoughts suggested to your mind, and first thing you do, you don't even know where it comes from. But yet and still, they know, and next thing you know, you're buying something you don't even need. And that's how they control the masses of people. But regardless of what the Supreme Court says, regarding what Obama says, I'm of the mind you should take care of your own health. Now, in order to do that, that means you're going to have to change your whole paradigm. You got to change the way you think. Here at Straightway, my house, I'm talking about myself and Sister Carol, and I'm only going to really just talk about me. I exercise. I eat. Every once in a while, I will eat what you'll call junk food. But I drink so much water and exercise so hard, and I take the right herbs to make sure that if I am going to so-called enjoy junk food, that I am also, at the other end, I'm going to do something that's going to purge out the junk food from my system, because I know the harm that it will do. But I do a lot of exercise. I eat right. I do a lot of things that a lot of people are not willing to do. So therefore, I'm not worried about Obamacare. So it looks like that the so-called supreme law of this land, who is appointed by politicians, each and every last one of them, has chosen to decide with Obama based on the constitutionality of, and I better not hear any of you constitutional people out there belly aching either, because the Constitution does say, now mind you, I don't agree, but it's totally irrelevant to me whether I agree or disagree. I'm just telling you what I'm going to do. I'm not going to opt into it. I'm not worried about it, because I take control of my own health. I don't need the government to regulate health care for me, because I take care of my own health. But it is constitutional for Congress to levy taxes against you, the people. And if I said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. And maybe some of you are beginning to warm up to my voice and understand my thought and where I'm coming from. Because they tell us we have representation. But I'm telling you right now that those 535 and the 545, when you include the president and the Supreme Court, those people are levying taxes against us that we're not asking for. They don't even care what the public says or think. And so in essence, we have heavy taxation without representation. Oh, they may get up and lie to you. That's what politicians do. They lie to you to get elected, but then when they get up there around their constituents, when they get up there around all these lobbyists and all these corporations and stuff, they're going to totally change the tune, because you know why? Those people give them more money than you give them in taxes. I mean, think about it. What does the president get? He gets an annual salary of what, $425,000 a year, something like that. I mean, don't quote me. I mean, it's been a little time since I've looked at it, but that's what he gets from the people. Now, all these, he's got a lot of people he has to please. People who got deep pockets. Corporations have deep pockets. Lobbyists have deep pockets. And they're not thinking about you, the people. And this voting stuff has been a scam from the very beginning, because I'm sure you all realize that they put into office, no matter who it is, who they want. And it's only at the state level, if you can even control and regulate that, because since everything is so jacked up, that the people even begin to even have a voice. But since the state is in the back pocket of the Fed or the federal government. The states are not about to do anything that is going to stop the cash flow coming to them from the federal government. Are you people beginning to understand my thought here? I mean, I may have been born at night, but it sure wasn't last night. So the only way you're going to be able to appeal Obamacare is if you elect. Now, believe me, I'm saying that you are selected. They have already elected. Some people would turn that around and say that you are electing, but they have already selected, or you are selecting and they have already elected. But the powers that be, the Bilderbergers, the Trilateral Commission, the Council on Foreign Relations, the corporations, the lobbyists, they are the ones who determine who's going to get in office, and that's all there is to it. You saw this with Rand Paul. You saw exactly what's going on. He only is caring about his political career because the rich rule over the poor. Whether you people like it or understand it or not, it is an actual fact. It's amazing how man can not have any money and then turn around and get up and become a congressman. It's the quickest way in the world to become a millionaire. Quickest way in the world to become a millionaire is become a congressman. Whether it be in the House or the Senate, it makes no difference. Quickest way in the world. And people just sell out for money because they don't have any morals. There's no integrity. There's no honor. Why they do it? That's their conscience. They have their own reasons and stuff to do it. But as for me, I can't do it, and I won't do it, and I will not do it. But hey, you're responsible ultimately for your own health. You really, truly are. Now, if you want Obamacare to be repealed, then you have to so-called select, or the powers that be is going to select the next president. And they are actually going to put him into office. And since allegedly Mitt Romney is against Obamacare because he's not about taking more taxes out of the pockets of the upper middle class and the rich. That's the only way, because he can get in there by executive orders and just waive that whole thing as if it never even happened, just like the George Bush tax cuts are scheduled to expire. It's amazing how they are scheduled to expire sometime after this election. It's just strategic how they do these bills, each and every last one of them. And everything is predicated upon elections. I mean, it's utterly remarkable and amazing when you watch the coercion and the manipulation and just the outright domination of the ignorant people of mind. Because I'm telling you, when they know that the American people as a whole is a bunch of ignorant serfs. They know that. It's amazing. It's one thing to be illiterate, and it's one thing to not to be able to know how to read and write, but it's another thing to know how to read and write and still yet can't comprehend things that are written down on a sheet of paper. You're going to have to learn how to get free yourself, because you're going to see through this election, this next election right here, if I can use those terms and be pure, who the powers that be has chosen to be their next puppet in the White House. And you're going to know if the powers that be believe that you should be taxed more or not by who they put in office. So this is what we're dealing with. This bill basically passed, or this Obamacare that the Supreme Court ruled on basically passed on, it was a constitutional decision. Does Congress have the right to levy taxes against the people? Yes or no? And you know they need to, because they need to do everything they can to take money out of the people's hands. Because you remember, Congress or the government doesn't produce anything, nothing at all. The only way they exist is off the backs of the people who pay taxes, and that's it. And since there's a lot of Americans today that are working and paying taxes, you know what they have to do? You know what they have to do? I'll tell you exactly what they have to do. They have to print more money out of thin air and keep this false, phony illusion afloat. Because you won't believe how many people through capitalism have enriched themselves through this phony fiat system. Now, America imposed this system on everybody worldwide, because when they made that statement over at Nagasaki and Hiroshima, when they dropped the nuclear bomb, they keep calling it an atomic bomb. I'm going to call it a nuclear bomb. When they dropped the nuclear bomb on them, that sent a statement throughout the rest of the world. You people are going to do exactly what America says. If not, you see what those Japanese got over there and the taste they got, right? You next. So whatever we do, you will comply. And how do you make sure you control policies throughout the whole world and the system of the whole world? Money. Isn't that something? And do you know that America, in essence, gives probably, billions of dollars a year to that made-up, created country under the Balfour Agreement in 1948 by the United States and Great Britain. You know they give that country billions of dollars in aid every single year just for existing. They give them billions of dollars. And we got people in our own backyard starving, living in trees, living in tent cities. Well, they can't live in tent cities no more because the police, the sheriffs, and everybody else, and the SWAT teams and the FBI and everything else, you know what they done? They done kicked them out of the places that they already got kicked out of their homes against a phony system that was set up. Now they're kicked out of the parks. Now they got nowhere else to go, so they're living at the side of bridges, they're living in jungles, they're living in forests, and pretty soon they're going to get kicked out of there too because they're going to be a threat, and they're going to be a literal terrorist against the spotted rat, or who knows what else they want to try to call a protected endangered species. But hey, I know these animals got more right than the existence of human beings. Now, let me give you a hypothetical situation here just for a second. Suppose that I said to you, I want you to listen to me real close. Suppose that I said to you that unless you have babies, we are going to tax you at an extraordinary rate. What would you say? Why, you'll cry wolf. You'll say, what in the world? You got to be kidding me. But think for a moment. Stop for a moment. Let's just think for a minute. Is that not the way that our system really, truly is set up, though? Because you can get taxed half to death if you don't have a family and have children. But if you have a family and you have a whole bunch of children, you get taxed less and less and less. As a matter of fact, you get more money back for having what they call dependents than if it was just you existing by yourself. Well, that's the same thing that's happening right here under this Obamacare, or this ruling that the Supreme Court did. And the only way that it can be overthrown is we have to see what the Bilderbergers and the rest of the Rothschilds and everybody else, we got to see who they have put in the office here in America to determine which way that these policies are going to go, because that's just the type of world that we live in. That's all there is to it. I hope that you learned something. And I hope that if you do have ears to hear, that you would give an ear and try to listen to me when I'm speaking to you from a pastor viewpoint, because I think that if any man has done their due diligence and have checked out on a lot of things that we have been told is the truth, I think I've done my due diligence on it, because the one thing I have determined to know is that I may bring something out, but I really won't truly bring clarity and understanding on something unless I have diligently researched and understood it for myself. Because I'm not about to feed a bunch of lies to you like people do in order to what they call line their pockets. I'm just a poor old pastor, and that's all there is to it, that desires nothing more than you know the truth. Because you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. So in 2015, in essence, we having more taxation is going to be levied against the people. It has nothing really to do with health care, because your health ain't getting any better in this country anyway. Ever since the turn of the century, you know, there used to be it was never even a thing even heard of in this country as heart disease or cancer on the level that we have it today. And now we're the sickest nation in the whole entire world. And you have a right to chemotherapy, something to burn up every bit up and destroy your immune system. You got a right to that? Oh, mercy. I tell you what. Hey, if you don't understand, don't let me disturb your sleep. That's just the truth. But if you desire to know more of this truth, check out my websites. And check out, this online church over here, as well as the rest of the websites I have. And who knows? Maybe you'll begin to wake up to a lot of things that have been preached and taught to you as truth. You're going to find out they've been lies. And then you have actually, for the first time in your life, the opportunity to hear the truth, and the truth straightway.